I'm back with another video on Christmas Eve, folks, out here in Thailand. I'm out here training. I'm fighting on Saturday, so I'll definitely do a reaction video to that over on the vlog channel. If you want to click up here, go check it out. We've just hit 200 subscribers, but that's not the point of this video. This video is me essentially just coming on here to say boxing is not going to be around much longer, in my opinion. I'd be very shocked if it lasts another 5 years, still being in like the public's interest. We've got a few guys. Let's just talk about it. The day of reckoning happened last night. Stayed up and watched it until about 4 a.m. Deontay Wilder lost a very boring clinch fest to Joseph Parker. But can I just say, well done, Joseph Parker, for proving everybody wrong. You know, boxing really needed AJ and Wilder both to win to set up that big money fight. Eddie Hearn even said in the post-fight interviews, you know, the plan was Wilder instead of the belt, essentially just because AJ has a better chance of beating Wilder and it's one big final payday. And obviously if you go out and you lose the belt, you can fight Wilder after that, but it's not as big of a fight. And obviously now that Wilder's lost, the fight. I mean, I'd still be fine if they made it, because it's still an exciting fight. Two big personalities, two big power punchers, but I just don't know if they're going to do it. Realistically, it's probably one of the titles next for AJ, one of the 6 belts or something like that. I'm confused. I mean, the first thing that's wrong with boxing is AJ lost to the champion Usyk, right? AJ lost his belts to Usyk. So without fighting Usyk again, AJ can become a world champion again, right? And this is what really bothers me. Muhammad Ali was a 3-time heavyweight champion. So impressive for his era. 3-time heavyweight champion. AJ now has the chance to become a 3-weight heavyweight champion, right? But he's not beating the champion. He's beating a champion, not the champion though. That's the thing. Back when Muhammad Ali was fighting against Joe Frazier, stuff like this, he fought for 1 belt and he had a legacy. If AJ wins another title, the fact that you can even compare his resume with Muhammad Ali after saying like, oh yeah, he's a 3-weight world champion. He's fought 3 different people for 3 belts, while each 3 of those champions hasn't lost. It's just ridiculous. And before you say I know nothing, I'm one of the biggest Muhammad Ali fans you'll ever get, right? I got the butterfly and the bee, and that's why I'm kind of bitter and salty about this whole situation. Let's talk about boxing though, and the state of boxing. It's dying. It's so, the scoring system isn't about damage, it's about significant strikes, movement, the little bitty jabs you can land. It's not, you do get some boxers that go out there and fight, but realistically now the state of boxing, when it's being rivaled by the UFC, there's nothing here for it. The UFC had a terrible pay-per-view in UFC 296, right? But everyone was so excited for all the fights on the main card. Yes, they didn't deliver, but it was exciting. This was boxing's best card in a long time, and it was a snooze fest. The AJ fight, nothing really was happening till it was happening. Otto Wallen didn't really put up a fight. Joseph Parker didn't necessarily put up a fight. He kind of just would land a few big shots, and Wilder looked off. He did look off. He looked slow. And Wilder saying in the post-fight press conference, you know, he did psychedelics to calm himself down and to be more at peace. That's the worst thing you can do. Marlon Chito Vera did that, right? And then he looked terrible against Corey Sandhagen. I think that you have a complete ego death. I think that's the worst thing you can have in fighting. I think there's no ego in the gym, but when you go out there, you need a massive ego. You need to think, this man is not going to touch me. I need to win this, you know. And maybe Wilder just didn't perform on the night, and that's completely fine. But I just want to say this, guys, boxing's dead. Ryan Garcia is a big star. Tank's not a big star. Devin Haney is so boring. Lomachenko's lost about 4 fights professionally, and that's a death in boxing. You lose in boxing, you're not going to be seen as the greatest ever, which is just so stupid. You know what I mean? Like, this is things you can beat. Charles Oliveira is one of the massive MMA stars. He's so rich, and he's got about 10 losses on his record. You know what I mean? He's like 8-9 losses. Guys, Poirier, this is the difference in sport. The best fight the best. There's only 1 belt in the UFC. It's not confusing at all. It's not confusing. Boxing's so confusing. What's all this? IBA, IBF, IBO, WBC, WBO, WBF. What the fuck? What is all that about? You're gonna try. How can you build one superstar as the champion when there's 9 other champions in that division? How can you build superstars if there's 9 champions? You need to have one champion who's so dominant and everyone loses to build a star. Not, oh, this champion is great, but 0.2 of a kilo later, you've got this champion who's also great, like Sonny Edwards. How can you be one of the greatest flyweight champions ever and only have like 3 KOs in 23 fights? It's just boring. It's just not what fans want to see. Boxing's dying. Jake Paul is the biggest and most exciting thing to happen to boxing in the last 5 years. Francis Ngannou coming over is one of the most exciting things to happen to boxing in the last 5 years. This is why it's failing. I'm literally listed only a few reasons of why it's failing. Like, pure boxing fans doesn't want to acknowledge what the UFC is doing, and I think what Eddie Hearn should do with DAZN is say, right, we're scrapping everyone. Whoever has the most belts in a division is the undisputed heavyweight champion. Get rid of all of these weight classes. Super strawweight, strawweight, big strawweight, light strawweight. What the fuck? Heavyweight is the most broad one because you can go from 200 pounds up. Cruiserweight, 190 to 200 pounds. What is that? Super, like, what the light heavyweight and cruiserweight? 2 kilos apart? Are you fucking joking me? 4 pounds? Is that it? I could sleep off 4 pounds. It's fucking pathetic. Boxing got consumed by money. They wanted to market more champions, so they made hundreds of weight classes and put 5 belts per weight class. It's pathetic, it's stupid, it's ridiculous. No one cares about it. The fact Tyson Fury versus Ngannou wasn't a title fight was ridiculous. I understand that they can't sanction it as a title fight as Ngannou hadn't made his debut under that organisation, but they could have. Mayweather did it under Showtime, so that isn't an argument that you really can make. I'm just absolutely baffled, guys. I'm just distraught. I was sitting watching the event last night. What is with 25 minutes, half an hour, 40 minutes in between fights when it's like the final 3 fights? The bit between Bivol and Wilder, it was like 25 minutes. And between the main event and the co-main event, it was like a 40-minute wait. Absolutely ridiculous, absolutely appalling. Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney and Tank, they're not big enough names to keep boxing alive. Jake Paul, if he keeps doing his thing, he's not big enough, in my opinion, as a one-man band to keep boxing afloat. People will watch and he'll make good money, but in terms of boxing as a whole and boxing's growth and people wanting to stay up and watch the boxing, watch the Mayweather fight, the way you win in boxing, the way you become big in boxing is boring unless you're going out there and starching people every fight, unless you've got a big name, unless you talk shit. But if you talk shit like Devin Haney does and then go out there and jab at range for 5, 10 rounds, 12 rounds and like slip and poop and barely beat Lomachenko and then keep undefeated record, it's just ridiculous, you know. It's dying. Boxing is dying. The day of reckoning, a jab fest, a jab snooze fest. Yeah, fair play to Anthony Joshua for winning, but the boy didn't put up a fight. Otto Wallen looked afraid of him in there. You know, and heavyweight boxing's always been like the biggest and most scariest thing in the world, but now you've got men like Tom Aspinall who could kill any boxer in a matter of minutes. John Jones, true combatants and true people that can take lives. Boxing is dead. The UFC has destroyed boxing, but above anything, boxing has destroyed boxing. Boxing could be a really fun, cool fight, good fights to watch if they weren't consumed by money. You could have massive stars, but it's absolutely boring. It's boring as piss. Boxing is dead. It's dead in the water. Thanks for watching this video, guys. Give me your thoughts. Jake Paul is the best thing to happen to boxing in a long time. And you can't argue with anything I've said, so get a grip, folks. I'll argue with you in the comments all you want. To subscribe. Thank you very much. See you later.